Everything you're talking about there, to me, screams a lot of technology investment, user experience investment, and innovation across all of that.
Right.
So how do you stay current, and what is your innovation process across those two dimensions?
We certainly have increased the size of our software engineering team, as my CFO likes to remind me on a regular basis. I think we've quadrupled it in the past couple of years. And it's almost like you can't get enough technology into the equation. And technology has gotten exponentially better and faster to deploy. And the environment keeps changing, so you have to be able to stay on top of that. And the best way to do that is really to try and hire the best and brightest people that are in that field and let them kind of go crazy on your user experience. The other is really to talk to your customers, both your retailers and the consumers, and understand what about this doesn't work for you, what about this doesn't make sense for you, and then make sure that you've got that feedback loop that incorporates into your product development cycle. We look at best in breed retailers in different countries and see what they're doing differently and help our retailers do the same. So I think it's a whole process here of thinking about it from a technology standpoint and also thinking about it as much as you can understand on the grounds. We've done, last year, I think we did 4 consumer focus groups in different parts of the world: Singapore, South Korea, Canada, and maybe Australia. And when we did those, we sat down and we said, how do you shop online? What are your favorite retailers in your country? Why? What do you expect? What stops you from buying cross-border? What makes you want to buy cross-border? Understanding those things, again, really understanding from their perspective what drives you to push that button and feel comfortable about the transaction, and making sure that that's built into our technology. That's kind of been the core, I think, evolution of our platform over the past few years.
Why did you pick those 4 locations to do this focus group?
Because that's where a lot of our sales come from and a lot of our growth. A lot of our growth is coming out of Asia, and understanding what's happening on the ground there is important. South Korea has an enormous amount of e-commerce as a percentage of retail sales. South Koreans shop online almost more than anywhere else in the world. Australia is a big market for us, as is Canada. And so I think starting there and understanding not just where we're selling to, but also when you look at traffic on retailer websites, what countries they're coming from, those countries rate really highly. And even if it's not converting to sales, that's almost the bigger opportunity, is to say why if someone's on your site. So for example, in South Korea, language is a big issue. And it's not necessarily language on a product page, it's more language in the checkout. And being able to understand, if I'm about to give my payment details, that I'm understanding what field I'm putting things into, that sort of thing. So we arrived at those, I think, by market potential and market size. My goal is to do the same or more this year in terms of going on site. I'm planning a trip to China in the next couple of months. I think there's a lot of interesting things happening there from an e-commerce standpoint that I think you kind of need to be in the environment to understand.